Welcome to Anime Adventures. I'm Elise Baughman, the voice of Pan from Dragon Ball GT. And I am with our Bruce Elliott. And you are so many voices, but let's hear one of them.
Okay, how about that little guy right there?
Master Makarov from Fairy Tale.
Yes.
The head of the Fairy Tale Guild.
And
Something like that.
Something like that. This is the show where I bring you interviews from recording studios and conventions, and that's where we are right now. We're at A-kon. So stay tuned because my interview with our Bruce Elliott is coming up. So I am here with Bruce. We've been at the convention all weekend, and we're gonna talk some anime. What you think?
I think that's a great idea. I think we should do that.
And I think we should talk about some of your characters because you have done, what, over 200
Over
characters?
200 now, yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah. So tell us a few of your highlights. Like, I see a bunch of characters right here, and we've got some posters. Give me a few of your characters.
Well, I started with this guy right here, Richard Moore, in the show called Case Closed. That was my very first show at Funimation.
Well, and while we're talking about Case Closed, I had kind of forgotten we were in a scene together, so we were talking on the phone.
Yes, we were. That's right.
Yes, because I played Yoko Okino, and
Yoko Okino was a pop star.
Yes.
And my character, Richard Moore, was a big Yoko Okino fan. And in one of the very first episodes of the show, of Case Closed, there's a knock. My character is a detective, and there's a knock at the detective office door. And I go to the door, and I open the door, and there is Yoko Okino. And Richard looks at her and goes, "Rah!" and runs off and hides in a closet.
I love the acting right there.
And then his daughter comes and says, "Oh, hi, hello, Miss Okino. I'm Rachel. I'm Mr. Moore's daughter, and I'm sure he'll be right out in a second." And then the closet door opens, and there's Richard in a tuxedo going, "Why, hello, Miss Okino." He was that kind of idiotic character and really
so
fun.
Funny.
Yeah, we had that scene together.
That was so cool. Yeah, and you brought that up, and I don't even know if I realized at the time because I didn't know you back then.
No, and we never saw each other when we were recording.
We didn't see each other. Yes. So how cool. Well, so you did that character, and then give us a few other characters.
Well, this guy right here, Kambei from Samurai 7. That was one of the next shows that I did. Maybe the second or third show I did.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that show was Samurai 7 was based on the great Akira Kurosawa film Seven Samurai, and this was the official anime adaptation of that movie. That great movie, one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, that's very
And so
cool.
I was honored to play the role of Kombe, who was the head of the Seven Samurai. Yeah, that was really neat.
That's very cool. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. And then what about, I want to hear this voice. Let's if I can grab this poster. I want to hear.
That is Captain Ginyu of the Ginyu Force in Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
And the way I kind of warm up for Captain Ginyu is I go, "Ginyu!" That's my warm up for Captain Ginyu. He's very loud. He's a moron.
Okay.
He loves the evil Lord Frieza, who is his mistress, actually, I guess.
Yeah.
And is head of the Ginyu Force. And he's the head moron of a bunch of other morons.
Man, that'll wake you up. I'm awake now. Well, this is so cool. So you have over 200 characters, such a wide range.
Almost 16 years now I've been doing
Really?
this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you come from an acting background, so I'm not surprised you got into voice acting. And how did you come into voice acting? Tell me about your acting background.
Well, my acting background is that I was always enamored of acting, really starting pretty seriously in high school, very seriously in college. And by the time I graduated from college, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an actor. And I was primarily a stage actor for all of my life. Over 200 stage productions, I think.
Wow.
Stage plays, musicals, comedies, Shakespeare. I basically did it all. And I had an agent in Dallas. I've had a couple of agents, but my agent in 2003 in Dallas sent me on an audition to this place called Funimation that I had heard of but didn't really know much about. And I auditioned for the role of Richard Moore in Case Closed. And lo and behold, I got it. It was a great gig.
Yes.
I loved the character. I loved the show. I still love the show. And we recorded about 125 episodes of that show. And somehow they kept inviting me back to like audition for other characters, and almost 16 years later, I'm still doing this thing.
Here.
I'm still here.
You're still here and doing conventions and making magic happen.
I'd like to think so.
Magic everywhere. Well, and so with such a strong theater background, how do you think that helps you as an actor vocally, like doing voice acting?
Oh, enormously. Well, because what I was told the very first time I went into audition at Funimation was, we're not looking for people who do voices, like who do funny voices or who can imitate. We're looking for good actors. That was the big thing. And I went, oh, okay, well, I am an actor. Because I was a little anxious about auditioning for what seems to be mostly vocally oriented stuff, voice-oriented stuff, because I hadn't done much of that. I'd done a couple of little radio spots and stuff like that in the 90s, but not a whole lot of voice acting. And so they said, well, we want good actors. And indeed, I have found out over the years that being able to step into another character and into another person's shoes, so to speak, and try to illuminate that character from within, even if it's just a drawn character on a screen. Yeah, my acting background has stood me in pretty good stead doing that.
Well, that's true, and you bring up a good point. A lot of people get told they have a good voice, and they think that's all it takes, and it really is much more than that. You've got to have the acting chops. Yeah. So what would you tell somebody who wanted to get started in voice acting or acting in general?
Well, act. Go get some experience. Go get as much experience as you possibly can. If you want to be a voice actor, be an actor first. Be the best actor you can be first.
Yes.
That's really important.
I agree.
And get as much experience as you possibly can. Like I say, I had literally decades of experience before I ever got into anime voice acting.
That's true.
And I think that was really helpful. Of course, it also helped that I'm quite a bit older than most of the people in anime shows. They tend to be the teens and the 20-somethings, most of the major characters. But fortunately, there are always a few older fellows somewhere in at least a lot of the anime shows. And I don't have quite as much competition. There are hundreds and thousands, even in Dallas, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who want to be voice actors at Funimation.
True.
And there are not quite as many actors my age.
So that's smart. Know the market.
Yeah.
Know the market, and sounds like you
outlive the rest of your competition.
That's great. What a great note to end on. Outlive them all. Well, before we go, we're doing a giveaway again. Yay! So he is going to autograph this poster. And wow, it is loud at this convention.
It is loud in here. Yeah. They're tearing down everything.
They are.
Just don't tear us down, please.
Yes.
We're not quite ready yet.
Us out. So he's going to autograph this poster. We are going to send it to one lucky winner. And guess what? All you have to do is subscribe. That's it. If you want to comment below, that's awesome too, but just subscribe. We'll do a random drawing and send you the autographed poster.
And it's a picture of me.
Yes.
And 10 of my favorite characters.
Woo.
Done by a wonderful voice actor and artist named Micah Salyasad at Funimation.
Oh.
He did that for me and did a beautiful job.
This is amazing. Yeah. This is great. I love it. Well, thank you so much for visiting with us. It was great to have you on Anime Adventures.
Thank you, Elise. I'm delighted. I'm delighted. Thank you so much for asking me.
We've been trying to do this for the longest time.
Yes, we have.
I appreciate it. So thank you for joining us. See you later.
Bye-bye.